Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures review of this 2022 GMC Sierra 1500 Limited AT4 Carbon Pro Duramax Turbo Diesel. Any other names we can throw in there? Anyway, I did accidentally turn on those lights. I wanted to show you, it does pass the fog light test as well. It's got real fog lights. Headlights are off, fog lights are on. Those are the daytime running lights that you see there. Of course, being the AT4 is lifted a little bit. You get the red tow hooks because without those, you are not off-road capable. Beautiful rims, I love these. And Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack tires, very aggressive. They are 275 65 R18s, about a 32-inch tire. This one, as you can probably hear that diesel engine running, it's got the 3-liter. I love this engine, one of my favorites, definitely my favorite diesel engine in the half tons, and very well equipped. You get the trick tailgate, which my kids absolutely loved. And of course, this one has the kicker sound system, and my phone wasn't connecting to it, so I'm not gonna be able to test that out as well as I'd like, but my kids love this step, makes it really easy to climb up in there. And also, if you fold that in, you have room where you can stand up against there and reach quite a bit further into the bed. That worked nice for a trip to Costco, but the downside is trying to close this thing takes a lot of work. So that's pretty heavy, and it has all the additional camera for the inside of the trailer. These are just the connections, of course. Inside of the trailer, rear of the trailer, 7-pin wiring. Got pretty dusty over that little bit. The other thing is, when you have a hitch in, if you drop that on all but a couple, there's a B&W hitch that they make specifically for this truck. This, especially right in here, hits on your trailer hitch. So they have this little flap with wires that will stop you from opening both of those tailgates when you have a hitch in. Let's take a look under the hood real quick and check out that 3-liter diesel. There you go. 3-liter inline 6, turbochargers there. It does some fun stuff when you first turn it off and turn it on. I don't know what this valve is. Blow off valve or something, I don't know, but it sits there and actuates back and forth a whole bunch when you turn the engine off. This engine, I'll put the horsepower and torque up on the screen, but it does pretty decent in both of those areas. I think it's something like 273 horsepower and 460 torque, I want to say, but it gets the torque down low, and it has a pretty decent rev range for a diesel engine. I guess it's a smaller diesel, so 4,500 RPM or so is where you'll redline. It shows the red line's higher on the tach than that, but it doesn't really go that high normally. And it runs really good. It's very responsive, down low, up high, whatever. It just responds and it goes. I love it. My favorite, as I already mentioned, this is my favorite engine as far as the diesel engines go in the half tons. Ford has discontinued theirs, and the Ram, it does okay, but especially after all the emissions stuff, it's just not responsive. So even though it has a really high torque rating, I think higher than this one by a little bit, it still runs into responsiveness issues. So I think that's due to the emissions stuff, and they had to kind of dial it back and do whatever they could to make it meet emissions. So this one does perform much better. I don't know what to say on the styling of this truck. You guys have seen it before. While it is a 2022 model year, it's not the updated one. So the updated one will be out next spring. They're just kind of using everything that's left to finish up the parts until they can get the new one going, I guess. I'm not sure, but the limited, that's what the limited means. 2022 limited means it's a 2021 model year basically, but made for the 2022. And it does have the Carbon Pro bed in it. I do like that GM's push the bed walls out quite a bit, and of course cargo view camera, backup camera. It's got bed lighting under there. It's got all of the cameras and plenty more. So there's another camera there in the back. It's just got tons and tons of different cameras all over. the surround view and all that stuff too. So I guess I should show you on this side. The AT4 package gives you the Rancho shocks, which give you a little bit more range, a little bit better off-road ride, but it still rides fairly rough off-road. And another thing I don't really like are these steps, although these ones feel really solid. In the Trail Boss that I had, they just completely got full of mud. This is a slightly different style, so maybe it will perform a little better. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. All right, here inside, I guess I'll just start with that head-up display, and you can switch through it, change some settings, adjust, you know, the height of it, what information is displayed on there, and the brightness, which that takes a while to adjust, so we probably won't notice that. But the buttons for that are here, and you can't, when you're driving, it kind of looks like that. They're hard to see, but anyway, once you get used to it, you'll know they're there. And the only time I really have to adjust it is at the brightness of the sun. When I get super bright, I have to turn it up all the way, and then at nighttime, if I've turned it up all the way for a really bright sun, then at night sometimes it's a little too bright. Over here, the four-wheel drive switches. It does have auto, which I'm in auto mode right now. 2 high auto, 4 high, 4 low. And the auto mode uses the clutch packs and engages the center differential essentially when four-wheel drive is needed. Otherwise keeps it in two-wheel drive. And then the drive modes, I'm not sure, but I can only get to off-road and normal. And then the trailer tow mode, it can turn on and off, which it changes to your transmission temperature right there. So in trailer tow mode, it shows you your tranny temp. Otherwise, it shows you your volts on your battery, which you can get your tranny temp info here anyway. Eventually I'll get to it. There you go. There's a transmission temperature. So I don't know if you know how to get into sport mode on this thing, or maybe that's part of the limited one. You can't do sport mode, or I mean, I've had it. I'll go back to two-wheel drive and see if it'll do it there. I wonder if it needs me to move. Nope, there we go. I can't get it to go into sport mode, so I don't know what that's about. Anyway, below that you have all your lighting. This is your fog light switch, cargo lamp, and the brightness of your gauges. Auto four-wheel drive, auto headlights. You can turn that off, but it does revert back to auto, so the next time you start it, it just goes back to auto. Running lights, full-on headlights, and then when you're in the running lights, you can hit the fog light button and it comes on. And this is for those lights you saw on the back of the mirrors that point forward. I do like those lights. I prefer the ones that point backwards, that light up the sides of the bed and the ground around the bed. If you need to look forward, just turn on your headlights. If you need to look backwards, it's better to have the other style, but still a nice, useful feature. All this is standard. You can 2-seat memory settings. You can set it so that when you open the door, it will slide your seat back and move the steering wheel out of your way. Power windows, mirrors, all that kind of normal stuff that you would expect. Over here, this one actually doesn't have a sunroof, and that's great for me. I like that. The power rear window right there. And then these lights you just push to turn them on and off. You can turn them all off, so when you open the door they don't turn on at all, or turn them all on by pushing that button. And it's not as well lit in here as I would expect. Those two little lights in the back, they do okay, but I had car seats and stuff back there and it just wasn't lit up as nicely as I would have wanted. I do like having the dome lights up here, of course, and not just the ones here in the middle, but a lot of times your sunroof, whatever, you're gonna lose these dome lights up here. The screen, not giant by any means, but who cares? I mean, it does everything you need. The one thing I don't like is to get to your camera, you have to scroll through on the screen and find it. So if you're on this home screen, you've got the navigation up and your radio on that side, or if you're in any of your other modes, if you're in an Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, whatever, it's a bit of a pain. You got to go through, it's not on there, there's my cameras. So if you're trying to pull into a parking lot or whatever, parking stall, and trying to get to it quick because you're blocking traffic, whatever, it's not super easy and intuitive to find, whereas they have a big blank button right here. go ahead and turn that into the camera button. Just hit that instead of having to search through the screen. As I mentioned, heated seats. This is just the seat back. This is the full seat, and ventilated seats as well. Lane keep assist, the parking sensors, auto stop start, drops tailgate, flashers, traction control off, push it and it turns it off. Push it, oops, push it and hold it. And it turns off electronic stability control. And I'll talk about that in a bit, but the electronic stability control stays off for just a minute. You get sideways a little bit and it just comes right back on. So it doesn't permanently stay off, but if you're stuck in the mud or whatever, the traction control will stay off indefinitely. And really the electronic stability control normally will not intrude enough to get you stuck. But I could see a really muddy situation or sandy situation, maybe snow, I guess, where you're sliding sideways a bit, then the electronic stability control cuts in, applies the brakes and does some stuff, and you lose some momentum and you end up getting stuck because of it. That is a possibility, but not likely, and especially with the ability to just turn off traction control and it actually stays off. Of course, regular household power outlet, 12 volt, 2 USBs, and here the trailer brake controller in a good spot. Wireless charging down here, 2 cup holders, very large center console, I guess, and it does have a USB, an SD card, well, 2 USBs and an auxiliary input in there, and then you can also buy a tray that will span across there. So not bad there. Still has the 2 glove boxes, the tiny upper one, which, there's probably something in there, something you would put in there that fits just right, and then the lower one. And yeah, that's about all for the front seat. I didn't talk about the styling. I'll jump out here. And you get these brown inserts and the AT4 stuff on the styling for all of that, and power seat controls here, lumbar support. Moves pretty quick. You probably were able to see that. And I just noticed tags that I do love the tags on these things. So payload on this 1484. Make sure I'm looking where I'm pointing, and it shows you your tire size and pressures and all that stuff. But down here you also get all that same information. So gross vehicle weight rating 7,100 pounds, the front axle 38, rear axle 3,800, tire sizes, again, all that kind of stuff. But up here, gross vehicle weight rating, gross combined weight rating, rear gross axle weight rating, for some reason 3,800. Oh yeah, that's the same for some reason. Sorry, I messed that up. Anyway, curb weight 5,616, which leaves you with a payload of 1,484. Does that add up to 7,100? It does. Perfect. Trailer weight, conventional trailer, 8,800 with an 80 tongue weight. And then gooseneck is 5,900 pounds because your tongue weight's double there. Double your 20% instead of 10%, I should say, of your total trailer weight. So I do love that they put these stickers in here. How much does my truck tow? Oh, I can see right here it tows 8,800 pounds for the conventional bumper tow style. I didn't mention this, but obviously you guys are probably used to that now. I do love the capless fuel fill, and you have the DEF tank there instead of under the hood now. Seat back storage still exists underneath here, and this is the plug-in to heat it up for that 3-liter eco diesel. And for some reason the supplement manual is back here for the diesel engine. There's the stuff, your tools for jack. The jack's underneath that seat there. But you do get a ton of flat load space here, even with this, that you can see the seat doesn't touch. You still have a ton of space, and if you don't like that, you can remove it pretty easily. So a lot of space back here. I had 3 car seats, and you can probably see all the dust from my kids, but I had 3 car seats, no problem fitting across here. And when you don't need all of that, you can drop there. Basically the same cup holder setup that's in the front. 2 additional cup holders here, vents, USBs, and a 12 volt and nothing down below. This one is the Carbon Pro, so you get some carbon trim accents there. And pretty comfortable. I mean, tons of room in this thing. Really just a big, spacious vehicle. These things are so big nowadays. And really not that hard to drive, but when you get into a tight parking lot or parking stall, it's hard to get in there a little bit just because these things are so massive. One of the great things about GM's vehicles, especially these half-ton SUVs and pickup trucks with the 10-speed automatics, they have done a really good job of tuning the automatic. And I'll try and show you a couple different scenarios here, but there's not hesitation in downshifting. You can see that was kind of an instant downshift, and a lot of times it knows the torque of the engine. It's able to just not downshift at all. I mean, this is a diesel engine, gets a lot of torque at 2,000 RPM or even a little bit lower than that, and so it doesn't need to downshift to be able to accelerate. And we'll try it again right here. I'm going 69 miles an hour. The downshift's really quick and easy, up to 80 already. So it's really easy to drive these, and it's very responsive. Makes the 10-speed something enjoyable to drive. I've been in other vehicles from Ford with the 10-speed, and those, it just seems like when it has to downshift, it's got to decide, do I want to be in second, third, fourth, or fifth gear when I downshift? What do I do? Maybe I go to third and that doesn't work, I'll go down to second. Like, it just seems like it takes the computer a long time to figure out what gear to be in on the Fords, but in this GMC 1500, it's just instantly there. It knows where it needs to be, it gets there quick, and you don't have any delay. You can also tell it's pretty quiet here on the road. I'm sorry, I only have one exit to do that, but you heard the road noise at up to about 80 miles an hour, and it's pretty darn quiet. You can hear the tires a little bit and hear a few other things, but overall, you know, a little bit of wind noise, especially going through the overpass and all that. You do get a little bit of wind noise, but overall it's pretty quiet for being a lifted truck, essentially, with knobby Goodyear Wrangler Durtrack tires. It's quiet inside, and it's pretty smooth. You know, at lower speeds you do get you feel the stiffness of the rear suspension because it's got the ability to tow a pretty good amount. And yeah, overall the driving experience in it's really nice. It's, of course, very nicely equipped inside. Heated everything, heated seats, heated steering wheel, cooled seats. It's got all those features and upgrades in it, so it's got a lot of niceties inside. And it also has the head-up display, which I doubt you can see from that angle. You might be able to actually see the speed somewhere in here. I can't see the camera to get the exact spot, but anyway, yeah, the head-up display is very large, easy to see during the day. Even in full sunlight I could see it. It was a little bit washed out, but I could still see it in full sunlight. And of course there are buttons down on the side, as you saw earlier, to adjust the brightness on that, and if you need it brighter, it's super easy to get to that. Yeah, overall, love this engine. It hasn't been getting as good of gas mileage as I would expect. So I'm at 19.4 right now. The average, whoever had it before me reset it just 600 miles ago, and it's at 19.1 from that. Total miles on this, 1425. So really, it's almost a brand new truck. I mean, it is a brand new truck. It hasn't had enough time to even fully break in the engine yet. So the fuel mileage, we might see that go up as other people get this truck in the future and it's got more miles on it, especially as you get into the 9,000–10,000 range. The engine's broken in, it's running good. Now you might see better fuel mileage once it gets up there. But right now I'm sitting around 20. I expected 23 to 24. I think that's what I got in the Ram Rebel with the 3-liter Eco Diesel. And I believe that is the most competitive vehicle to this one, direct competitor at least. I did try and turn off traction control and electronic stability control, and as soon as it starts to slip sideways a little more than it wants, it'll flip that electronic stability control back on, it doesn't stay off. So yes, you can disable it, but if you go too much sideways, it flips it back off. I wasn't able to do any fun drifting stuff, so I didn't film any of it, but it kicks it right back on. Traction control stays off, which of course is always a good thing. You want to be able to disable traction control and spin your wheels when needed, when you're stuck or whatever. It's just when this thing gets sideways, it will bring back stability control even when it was off before. So, but yeah, this thing moves pretty darn good. Little 3-liter diesel. And I now have, I mean, I've had this for a while, and I don't know why I never thought about using it before, but we'll do a 0 to 60 time, and I'll run it through the OBD2 scanner and the GPS on my phone through an app that I have for it, and it should get us a really accurate 0 to 60 measurement rather than how I have been doing it, and I'll give you the screenshot of that as well. So this might be the new method as long as it works in all the different vehicles I'm using, which I'm sure it will. It should work in all the new vehicles, so I'm not too worried about that. 3, 2, 1, go. $60. So there we go. And it's not even showing me my 0 to 60 time. Let me see the results. 0 to 60 was 9.1 seconds. That was without brake torquing, flat footing it uphill a little bit, 4,700 feet of elevation. So not too bad. Around the 8th, I let off before it completed the 8th in 10.9 seconds at 62, but I let off right before we crossed the 8th. Not that it matters too much, but maybe I'll start throwing those numbers up as well. This will give a quick, much quicker reaction time for me to be able to see how fast it actually went. So for a diesel engine, it doesn't feel, I mean, it feels fast for a diesel engine. It doesn't feel 9.1 seconds slow, though, on the 0 to 60. It feels faster than that to me. And I think that's because of the initial delay when you first start going. You've got to wait till you get up to 2,200-2,300 RPM, and then it really, really moves once you get to that point. So I think that's probably one of the biggest factors in having that longer 0 to 60 time, which also means if you brake torque it, you can overcome that. And I was in all-wheel drive mode, so I didn't get the rear wheels slipping. But I do think for normal driving, everyday driving, that's more of a realistic time. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures review of this 2022 GMC Sierra 1500 AT4 Limited with the 3-liter Duramax turbo diesel engine and the Carbon Pro package. Overall, I really quite enjoyed it. It's been a little while since I've been in a truck this size, and trucks are what I like the most. This is a fun truck to drive. It's really stable, performs very well on-road, and as you'll see in the next video, it does pretty well off-road and has a D80 rear locker and all that. Anyway, great truck overall. Fuel mileage, not quite as good as I wanted, at around 20 miles per gallon. For me, I've done better with the Ram Rebel in the past, and I think I actually did better with the previous 3-liter Duramax that I tested, and I believe it was the Chevy RST. But overall, I do love these trucks. These GMCs are really nice, very capable. They can tow plenty, off-road really well. Just a good all-around truck with tons of space inside, making them an excellent family vehicle. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe and give me a thumbs up, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos, and comment down below. Let me know any questions you have, any comments, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, what you want to see. Let me know about all that stuff, and I'll see what I can do to improve. And if you didn't like it and you give me a thumbs down, be sure to comment and let me know why. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.